Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the first season of It. Welcome to Derry. The last episode dropped this week. I've managed to watch it now, so I can give you my thoughts on the full 8 episode of season 1 of this show. Now, initially, when it first started, I reviewed the first couple of episodes. I think it was the first 2, might have been 3, can't just remember now. And I remember saying in that while I thought it was really good and the production values were excellent and all this kind of stuff, we really needed to start seeing Pennywise. And that was my biggest criticism of the start, really, that we didn't get a lot of Pennywise. There was a lot of hints of Pennywise. There was a lot of creepy stuff happened. But it was mainly focused on, if you like, Pennywise instilling the fear into the children and others by tapping into their deepest fears, sort of thing. But now I've seen the whole of the first season. I'm here to tell you that this show gets bloody good. It might take a little bit of time to get going. It might take a little bit of time to get traction. But once it does, oh my God, it is intense. And it is absolutely fantastic. The last 2 episodes of this series make it all worthwhile. They're absolutely world class. Cinema level quality. I mean, the whole show is cinema level quality. The production values are just outstanding here. I mean, I can't compliment them enough. The performances are all absolutely fantastic. I think over the 8 episodes, I think where this really succeeds is we really get to know people in Derry, these characters, especially the children, but not just them. We get to know some of the parents and some of the townsfolk and some of the history of Derry and history of Pennywise, a little bit more of his origins and where he came from and all that kind of stuff. That I believe, my understanding is I'm reading that it's going to be a 3-season arc, each of them kind of exploring a different era of Pennywise. And another thing that I think is done flawlessly well here in this show is the way it ties into the I don't know what you want to call it, really, Stephen King universe. You know, it talks about Shawshank. We have a chap here, Dick Halloran, who works for the military as a psychic. He is the psychic, the old chap in the Shining film, the one that gets axed at the end by Jack Nicholson. Spoilers. But he's here. His character is here. So it's one of the first examples where, you know, all of these Stephen King plates that are spinning are all kind of intertwining here in such a subtle and clever way. And it really does work for the show. It doesn't force feed you. It's not fan service. It just all feels natural, how it all kind of ties together. So I really, built a relationship up with a lot of these characters in this show. One of my criticisms as well at the beginning is the whole military thing. I'm not sure, because every other version of it that I've kind of watched and stuff, there's no mention really of any military, and there's no mention of the Native Americans putting these things in place to cage Pennywise and all that kind of stuff. But as the season progresses, it does start making sense. The whole military aspect and the whole Native American aspect sort of thing at odds with each other. And it actually ends up being a big, big part of the show, and it works really, really good. So yeah, that all kind of works by the end as well, which I was worried about that it maybe wouldn't. Maybe it was a side plot that didn't necessarily work. But it all ends up kind of working and blending together really well. We've got characters here that are directly linked to the characters that we meet in It and It Chapter 2, the films. And then we've got to talk, obviously, we have to mention Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. Now, when the films came out, originally It and It Chapter 2, I really enjoyed his performance as Pennywise, but I was one of these that, if you like, grew up with Tim Curry as Pennywise, and I thought his performance was brilliant and chilling. And I thought Bill Skarsgård was excellent in the movies. But I have to say, here, he absolutely excels as Pennywise. He is more vicious. He is more... He's funnier. He so much more menacing at times, it feels, as well. It really does put the frighteners up. Yeah, it's such a sinister performance by him. I think he absolutely knocks it out of the park, and I think part of that is because he knows the character so well. Part of that is because he's matured probably a little bit as an actor since the films came out. Part of it is probably because he was one of the producers, so he maybe had more creative input. But whatever it was, worked, and it was an unforgettable, villainous performance by him as Pennywise. Because, like I say, we learn how Pennywise came to be, how this entity chose to be Pennywise. And we learn that. We get to see Bill Skarsgård playing the guy who was originally dressed up as Pennywise in the circus. We get to see all that. So that was another layer of performance that Bill Skarsgård had to give as this, Pennywise the dancing clown when he was human, and how the entity was fascinated by Pennywise as a human, and realizing that, that clown attracted children, sort of thing, and that's exactly what he needs, this entity. So you get to see all that, and it really does tap into the origins brilliantly, I think, with Pennywise. It doesn't go too far behind the curtain. It does leave still enough mystery, but I can't honestly compliment the final 2 episodes enough. They were staggeringly good, especially episode 7, but both of them, I think, were probably the strongest end to a season of television I can remember. Honestly, it's absolutely edge of the seat stuff that works so brilliantly. Just terrifying at times, great performances, flawless special effects, and really, they went all out to deliver here on a real horror experience. So, yeah, okay, if you've not seen this yet, you definitely need to give it a go, especially if you're a fan of the It movies or the It miniseries or the book, whatever. You definitely need to check it out. Just be warned that, it does take, a few episodes to really get going, in a sense of, the real terror starts kicking in regards to Pennywise kind of turning up the dial. But that doesn't mean the episodes leading up to that are poor, because they're not. They're fantastically done. I found them a little bit frustrating, the early episodes, because I wanted Pennywise so much, and it just kind of kept dangling the carrot and didn't give you the stick until the show was ready. And when it was ready, you get plenty of Pennywise, trust me. So, yeah, an exceptional series. Looking forward to more of this when it comes back. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you've seen it. And I will, of course, be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.